Welcome traders to another episode on Prophecy Trades. Today's video we will be covering four currency pairs. We have GBP AUD, Euro CAD, Euro USD, and Euro JPY. So today's video looks like it's a Euro video. There's a lot of things happening for this Euro currency pair. But before we dive into that, let's talk about GBP odds. So previous video, we were just talking about where we were in the market. Price was ranging somewhere along this range. We were almost at our final take profit, and we predicted the market would then take us out of the market for this trade opportunity somewhere before the New York Open. And price did just that. We were actually out of this trade somewhere along 4 a.m., and we were able to capitalize on this trade. We will keep this pair on our current market mover watch list, as I do see a potential opportunity based off a prediction to potentially re-enter the market with this currency pair for a potential short. So based on this scenario, we can see how price came through, rallied aggressively through this order block, creating now a breaker blocker, and we now see price aggressively printing bearish candles. We are still waiting to see some variation of a retracement. We will then wait to see if price could then retrace and to a new Fibonacci. Looking for a 61.8 is obviously the best zone we're looking for, 78.6 or maybe even the 50% zone. We would then bring out our fibs, again doing a fib trick to confirm the completed move and add additional confluence with this third confirmation, see if we can respect this trend line, or if we might just come back up and retest this horizontal trend line here. We have price once, twice, three times, and potentially it could come up, respect, retest, and then continue to fall. So that is another opportunity waiting to happen. As you can see, the markup on this pair over the past couple of weeks, we've been doing pretty well here. We have a 1 to 3.5 short. We have another 1 to 3.5, and then we have roughly a 1 to 7. So just alone the past couple of weeks, I mean, this is about over 13%, and you can't be mad at that. You could focus just on one pair and you could still be pretty successful focusing on one pair. But the way we do it, we look at a lot of different pairs, a lot of variations, if we keep it dynamic. But that is the status on GBP odds. So we are out of the market looking for a potential re-entry. So let's move on to Euro CAD. Euro CAD, we are actually still fighting to maintain this trade. We are actually now just about break even here, considering the spread and the swap are probably, like I said, maybe it's a minimal drawdown, but at the end of the day, it's mainly just a break even. I'm looking to potentially close this trade by the end of the week. The trade is not really unfolding the way we predicted. Like I said, we were targeting pretty far region. This was a very large, almost a 1 to 9. I was actually going to target this previous high, take a large portion of our lot size, securing profits, and then moving stops to break even, and then trailing stops once we saw some dynamic support and some market structure to put our trailing stop at effectively. If we can break this higher high, I'm probably going to end up moving my stops to break even, as I do not want price to put any more at risk at this point. We've been in this trade for far too long, in my opinion, and I'm ready to move on and to open up some other risk in other areas for some better opportunities. So moving on to Euro USD. This trade was actually executed this morning, the New York session, roughly around 8 a.m. And we are currently in profit. We are running, and this trade is looking really great. I'm looking to potentially be out sometime in the London session, depending how price prints for the remaining of the next 12 hours or so. So what prompted me to get in this trade? Basically, I saw a very nice trend line on the hour time frame. I saw a price was respecting our 50 EMA, giving us another sign of a bullish indication there. And then the third, we pulled out our fib from this low to this high, bringing us down to that 61.8. We later saw price then quickly wicked down to that 78.6 region and then quickly came back up. And then the fourth thing, jumping down to the lower time frame, we did see a variation of inducement. Basically, inducement, we see these equal lows here, and if we go to the lower time frame, you could see that price is basically respecting this area time and time again. So basically, it's equal lows, and this is where price manipulation, where we have a stop hunt, where price will then come down, respect. Looks like price is going to mitigate this area. We're at this trend line as well. It's going to entice traders, retail traders, to look for longs. They enter and then they get stop hunted out, price reverse rally. So what we did was we waited for price to actually complete the inducement. Before that, we actually went up to the was the 15 minute or 30 minute, which we're on, and we end up putting our fib tricks to see if the move was completed within the move. And this is where we got the fib trick. So that was our additional confirmation there of the fib trick being completed. So very confident there. We went down to the 15 minute and we did see price coming back up. Very strong bullish engulfing candles, and I think we actually went down to the 5 minutes, and this is exactly what we did. And all we saw was nothing but printing bullish engulfing, bullish candles all the way up. Not once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Came back within our trend line. 8 executed the trade. And then as far as our stops, stop loss rules are: we putting our stop loss just outside the fib trick or just outside the most recent respected Fibonacci level. Due to the stop hunt, we just put our stops equal or just outside of this lowest wick here. Price would invalidate if price was to come back. I've seen this setup time and time again, and this is a fairly confident setup. You know, price does not come back. It will not stop us out more times than not. If it does, the trade analyzing is just completely wrong. So that's why my stops are there. It's roughly about 11 pips or so. Euro USD is a major. You can have some pretty decent stop losses on there. And then going up to the hour time frame, we actually then are targeting the minus 27 and the minus 61.8. And even targeting just this minus 27, that's still almost a 1 to 4. And then we have the total is about a 1 to 5.5. So it's a pretty good setup. On the higher time frame, I still do see price eventually coming up. Reaching even higher, coming up to probably that 1.174 area. And then we might get into some exhaustion and resistance. But for us, we're just looking to get in and out at a 1 to 5. We also have Euro JPY. We are currently in this trade. We were just got in this trade a couple of hours ago. New York session. We are currently in profit, just slightly, but we're in profit. So in profit is in profit. And what prompted me to get in this trade on the higher time frame? We had a 4-hour trend line. We had a price respect once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and then eventually coming down, beautifully tapping our fifth tap here. I do see an indecision candle there, and this is off the 4-hour time frame. The higher the time frame, the stronger the confirmation. Indecision candle, indecision candle, that leading us for a stronger decision for a buy entry. We have a bullish engulfing. This happened after we entered the trade, but we actually went down to the hour time frame and 15 minute, which I will discuss that more. But first, we actually pulled our fibs out from this tip of this wick here, this swing low to this swing high, putting us at that 50%. And that 50% is a really strong Fibonacci rejection zone. So we're feeling pretty confident. And we also then later pulled out our fib trick, and we ended up somewhere on the 30 minute. I took it from this swing high, looked at this retracement here, and got us right. There's a minor pullback to 23.6, so this is a continuation trend on this lower time frame. So basically, this is the retracement within the move coming down to our overall larger move. And price did kind of break through just below outside of our fib trick, but we do have imbalance here. This is basically an unmitigated area of support, or we would call it a demand. And then it's another confluence respecting that trend line. So that is a multiple confluences of why we've got into the trade, and then we actually, or why we want to get in the trade. And then we went down to the 15-minute, and we actually were looking for some nice candle stick analysis, price action. We see a lot of exhaustion, a lot of indecision. We see this bullish engulfing, enter, comeback. Price retraces. I could have scaled in, entered even again, and got a better entry. But we were actually away from the chart at that moment. But as of right now, we're currently in profit. This is almost a 30 pip stop loss, and I can explain that. So, stop loss is just outside the fib trick or just outside the respected fib zone. And we can see price did respect this Fibonacci level. It's right here. I would have had to put my stops all the way down here, which would have made this still a 1 to 5, but that's over 50 pips. I do not like putting my stops that large of a stop loss. So 30 pips or less is ideal, and I believe it was like at 29.8, which is brings us to a 1 to 8.5 roughly, which is a really great optimal risk reward ratio. And I'm going to jump up to the hour time frame so you can see where I'm targeting this for the long term. Long term meaning just a couple of days here. So take profit 1. We would target this minus 27. It's still a 1 to 5.5. Depending, we are, what is it? Today is Tuesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Depending on where we are on maybe Thursday, I might end up taking some partial depending on how price prints and moving my stops to break even. But the goal is really to target here, take a partial, and then target here and trailing my stops all the way up. So that's today's video. If you're liking these videos and they are helpful to you in your trading journey, press the like button and subscribe.